glorious. Hmm. What do you got, Dave? Do you want to give us a little tour on jump.sh or give us kind of a download on what that is? Heck yeah. We got the impromptu save. I love it. You're good. I was gonna show my my zero claw thing, but it's not showable other than the bot is in a Telegram, so there's not a whole lot going on. Let's do it. If you there should be like a share your screen button. We may have to turn off our video for it, but there should be one in Discord, but I don't currently see it. I believe. Okay. Heck yeah. Yeah, I've been it's funny. I'm working in Zero Claw, which is a Zig port um of OpenClaw, but and then I'm modding in features that I want with Rust. I can neither read nor write Zig or Rust, so it's been quite an adventure. But I literally have not had to look at the code base at all. It's pretty freaking sick. All right, we got Davey coming back here. I believe it, in theory, will work. Maybe. Okay. Currently, I still just see the video feed from... There we go. We got it. It's happening. Hey, there we go. Nice. We just lost your stream if you're able to... It's Mac OS. It's their frickin' I tried to troubleshoot this and I have not been able to, or I've almost been able to crack it. But yeah. Yep, we see jump.sh on the screen there. Cool. Sure. Nice. Mhm. Nice. Yep, we gotcha. Yeah, dude, you gotta keep the Super Nintendo aesthetic. That shit's lit. Oh, they're boring. I love it. I'm here for it.
Jump.sh URL that I'll just put in here because I think I'm only sharing one tab.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Right. So the URL for this is david-app.jump.sh. All that DNS will just work for you. So wildcard anything.jump.sh, the DNS goes to 127.0.0.1. So if you just go to anything.jump.sh, it'll point to your local machine.
Nice.
The certs are the wildcard certs are also just public, so that when you use, so if you do npx, jump.sh, that server will go grab the wildcard certs for you. So when it serves your stuff, you also get the HTTPS. So that all works just fine for your local machine.
Hell yeah.
I go to the primary use case for me is a little bit different. I just changed the URL. You may not have really noticed anything, but the URLs now are a little bit different. So now it's david-app.davidgutman.jump.sh. And so anybody can get their own subdomain off of jump.sh and then point that to whatever URL you want. A
Nice.
sign up.
That helped me for something I'm actually thinking about right now,
Okay,
which is
cool.
Right.
I'm at naming and persistence. It's like
yeah.
cool.
And I also do something a little twisted for the sign up. I got a little obsessed with having like an absolute zero touch, like registration flow.
Nice. Nice. Hmm.
Keys from GitHub because they're public, and then it'll have your SSH agent sign a challenge to prove that you have the private key for those public keys.
Nice.
And if that goes through, then you can now dictate what your subdomain is, which is what your GitHub handle is. So pretty much, if you control the GitHub for whatever the subdomain is, then that's it. You're authorized to do that. That's all, yeah. And so that's all free, I'm running Let's Encrypt or whatever on the server and handling the DNS for you. So when you do that, you just get to set whatever the IP address is for that wildcard of the subdomain, and then I register the wildcard certs for you and then give them to you, and then you just get to use them on your server. And then we'll start some of these and kind of see what, I don't know what the fail to fetch is for. Probably something I just did recently and should pay attention to. So hopefully this one starts up. I guess we can look at jump.
Oh, currently
is my screen blocked? Is it just me like
No.
fucking Discord messing up?
Currently we are just seeing your one browser tab that just has your projects listed there, David. I don't know if you're trying to show us other stuff.
Oh yeah, and I'm like
Yeah.
spinning them open and stuff, but
probably
still...
your Discord.
Man,
Discord
my
just
streaming
Discording.
situation is so annoying. I think
but Discord is like fucked, right?
Yeah, Discord is really bad. For what it's worth, so it's not just you guys. But Mac OS is also kind of trash, so.
All right, so hopefully maybe you can see it again, because I just like stopped sharing and then reshared.
Now I got it.
Okay. So looking at trade tracker, so we've got the main URL trade tracker.davidgutman.jump.sh, and then if I because I have to use the same tab, this is, I guess you can't, I don't know if you can actually see. So this would be trade tracker -- lint -fix.davidgutman. So all of these are the work trees, and they automatically get spun up as well. And you can also see they each have their own logs down at the bottom.
Wow.
Which one of these have logs?
That's spicy.
So privacy policy and whatever, and so those can live stream.
Yeah, this is very interesting for me right now.
Actually, this is this feels like it's going to be a great fit for your thing too.
Yeah, I'm such an idiot. I'm also like trying to fix it instead of reverting because I don't know why.
Yeah. Also, okay. So maybe you can see William now. Okay. So William is the updated branding name for Trade Tracker. So this is the options trading platform that I'm building right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone else? This is a total tangent. Does anyone else have like absolute like terrible time with agents and auth? Like, we're basically looking at the rings of a tree, where like each ring is me trying another strategy to stop the agent from like getting messed up on auth, to the point that not only do I have like one-click buttons to impersonate different accounts, I even have to like call out which one of them have made it past the like invite code.
I think
gate.
I think you need a sidecar for it. I'm gonna be setting up. I think in physical is probably what I'm looking at. But I think there's got to be like a sidecar auth server that just like grabs agent requests and like adds the right headers, because it's just way too, it's messy.
I mean,
it's not a good situation.
Yeah, I mean, because I have my own auth framework called Authentic, which I've made to.
Really? Yeah, because I was thinking that I just proxy the request, because I don't want to have like an LLM messing with stuff or trying to figure anything out. I'm just gonna like hunt for the process and grab any network requests and just modify them. At least that was the approach that I was thinking about. I love when they add legal documents and they just decide to Nice. Does this spin up a like a whole other container, or is it to like to put the work tree into? Is that what it's? Gotcha. Right. Got it.
Work tree, if it's noticed, also gets its Docker container as well. And the reason why I use Docker is because of port. You know, Docker pretty much guarantees that the app doesn't need to
Right.
know anything about the outer system or the host
Yeah, between
networking situation.
Docker and Tailscale, I feel like should be a little peanut butter and jelly situation. Should be pretty
Mhm.
solid.
Yeah, and then so the LLMs also quickly understand that when they spin up when they add a work tree, that they'll get the deterministic URL for where they can test
Nice.
the output, and they don't have to try and spin up a dev server or something like that.
How many threads would you say that are you like comfortable running simultaneously if you've got like in this kind of setup with work trees and stuff?
Like for like how many different projects, or like how many projects times like work trees, like type of
More
deal?
or uh, I guess like projects times work trees times number of agent instances.
Yeah, so this is a little bit like the talk that I gave in AI in action. So pretty much my process is telling OpenClaw, like, okay, do feature
Go
development
do the thing.
on
Yeah.
XYZ. And then it interviews me, it uses the brainstorming skill from Superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I get to the end of brainstorming, it has a design doc. And then from there, it opens up Tmux with like Claude Code, tells it to do a plan. That plan gets ripped to shreds by Codex. Then it comes back. Claude builds it, and Codex reviews the output again, and then whatever. So I will generally have maybe three of those going at a time.
Hmm.
Like the ideal situation is that one of them is like kind of at the end and ready for me to merge in or not.
Right.
One of them is in the middle of going, and then one of them is like I'm actively doing the brainstorming type of situation.
Got it.
Um, and then I tend not to have more than one project that I'm actually looking
Mm-hmm.
at a time. Um, but over the course of the week, like I might come back to one, and mess around with it. So it's sort of nice that it's just here waiting for me.
Yeah, I find that for me, like the like like I feel like I could be running way more agents, but the like picking what to do and then get the like my ADD is hella bad, so for me like the move from like puttering around doing nothing to like okay, let us start on this task now is very like that kind of friction is really hard for me. So being able to just like leave off and jump back in would be a nice like is a thing that I find nice about agentic development. But I like setting that up more ergonomically seems like it would be a win for me. So good on you for having a drop off, drop on. Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. I really need to finish my zero claw hack and get that up and running. I got one side loaded onto an old Android at the moment, just because I wanted it isolated. But I'm hoping to be able to use it as a proper orchestrator. We'll see. It was having trouble. It was struggling to mess around with the Android screen, but I actually don't need it to do anything on the Android. It's just the place where it lives. But how we doing? Did you break it? Oh no. Let's see. You got an old checkout or anything laying around? Oh no. Oh no.
No, I'm trying to go back in history, but I think this is actually not a bug. It's like something else.
Isolate.
Oh, I'm so annoyed. Well, I guess not tonight. I shouldn't have. Oh man, I shouldn't have done this. I'm tired as well.
No way. I mean, if you got it, you got it. Then if you don't, you don't. It's not a huge deal. I guess I only have like 1 to 2 videos right now, so it's not the end of the world if it's an early one. But I might go through my little OpenClaw hack and or little zero claw hack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I have so many submodules that it's kind of a mess. So let me actually try this. Just reverting to 4 hours ago. Okay. Please. Yes. Okay, we're good.
I believe. Yes.
We're rolling.
Nice. Let's go.
All right. So I don't know if this shows like the latest stuff, but I don't think that's going to be all that important.
Yeah.
So I was kind of imagining, I hope that this works now. I'm going to switch to the inventory profile. I'm going to open a couple of like funny windows just for the heck of it. And I'm going to say, hello, please. Fuck.
An excellent
Man, I hate this shit.
An excellent soliloquy.
Yeah.
Hello, please? Fuck.
But that could be because, see, it says streaming here, run inference completed. So yeah, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna stop it because
no worries.
It's on this like tiny screen. It makes me like claustrophobic. Yeah, fuck. I don't know, man.
Womp womp. Well, yeah. What's the? I guess feel free to kick off whatever, and then I guess you can give us just like a general. I'm curious, or like.
Yeah, I mean, debugging in 1920. This makes me like.
Yeah.
This makes me wild.
Yeah, I can see it.
Why does this? Well, maybe I can show some demo. Maybe I can just like not show the generation of stuff. Yeah, because did this work? Yeah, so it's just a display that doesn't work. All right. Anyway, I've hacked so much on this, but so the idea is, what's the primitive when you have write code? And the simplest, like LLMs do well with JavaScript, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know JavaScript pretty well. I like Go, however, and so I do have a lot of JavaScript running inside Go, and then I map just a couple of few primitives into the JavaScript VM. I say like, well, the only thing you can do is like, deploy a server. So you have a function that's called deploy server. Mm-hmm. And it returns like a promise, and then all the complicated part of that is done in Go. I kind of like that separation beyond just like the fact that some things are nicer to write in Go than in JavaScript. It just like tells me, hey, there's a very clear like simple deploy server for the JavaScript. So when the LLM generates JavaScript, it doesn't need to know about all the like mutexes and whatever that are going on. And the funny thing is that provisioning deploy server in the JavaScript is like, hey, JavaScript engine register deploy server is like this Go function called deploy server. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of like the base concept behind this. So is
the idea that like JavaScript just sits there as a registry, and then you write complicated shit in Go, and then the Go functions you just register those so that the JavaScript can call them? Is kind of the
yeah, so that's how I do it, right? Like, but the concept is deeper. Is that it's like an abstraction boundary, right? There's an abstraction boundary that says like, hey, deploy server is an abstraction for a complicated process that you don't need to know about. The only thing you need to know about is that this thing will return a promise that will be true or not. Like, don't worry about the rest. And so that makes it very easy for the LLM to say like, cool, like if you ask me to deploy 2 servers, I've got to call this function twice, right? Like there's no. And so you can extend that and being like, if you only give the JavaScript API like a few very small primitives, then you can do a lot with it, and you can like really strongly sandbox stuff, right? Like if you give it bash, it can do like literally everything. And it's really hard to sandbox saying like, yeah, this git call is correct, but this git call is actually dangerous because it's hard to sandbox. If you, however, expose an object called git to the JavaScript and it only has 2 methods, which are called like add and commit, then suddenly it can write, a ton of stuff, and you can say like, well, no, you shouldn't add like .temp files or whatever, right? Like you can do this like sandboxing at a semantic level and not being like, I hope it doesn't touch files that are called .temp with the system call open, right? Like, which is what Claude is doing, where it's like, so that was kind of the idea, right? And then also being, if you open like say a browse inventory card, is like actually the code for this is like fairly simple. So the code for browse, if you give it a UI object and the only thing the UI object can do is text tables and like columns and rows, then sadly I can't show it. GPT-4 Mini can just say like, yeah, cool, I'm going to make this. It's like 200 tokens. And as far as a user is concerned, if they're working with an inventory, this is perfect, right? I mean, maybe not the buttons here, but the fact that this also gets, it gets state like Redux. So what this thing does, this render method, this is going to run in a QuickJS sandbox, and the render interface, it takes in a state JSON and it returns a UI JSON that gets interpreted. And you can here, you can define handlers. So I don't know if this is like the best DSL ever, but 4 Mini seems to do it well. And then it can receive events through these handlers, and then it dispatches what's called an intent. You can think of it as like just a reducer action. So it's like this whole VM kind of cannot fuck shit up. It only gets like JSON in and then JSON out, and then this boundary interprets and says like, oh, you want to do the back navigation? Like, let me call the window manager and say like navigate back, or add a new item. Then it's going to go to the surface ID called new item. I wonder if this works. So this is another. A surface is like, I don't know what the words are. I'm like still looking for the right names. This is a surface. You can instantiate like many of them. And the thing that I was breaking as I was building this is like the task manager. So here you can see the 2 plugin sessions here are JavaScript VMs running. And I started like, this is like the beginning of a shell. But so the idea is, beyond all the JavaScript and the Mac OS and whatever, if you go back and you only have objects, right? Like I can't drag and drop them yet, but you have objects. It'd be, I think this is not hooked up right now. It'd be cool if they describe themselves, right? Like if I have an object, say I have my inventory object, I want to drag it into a chat and say like, hey, now I can write code against this inventory object. So that's kind of my goal, is that you can take these different objects, and I don't really know what an object is. It's like inventory an object. It's like my app an object. It's like Kanban an object. Because this is also scripted Kanban UI. I can make like many of these. I can make like a release train. Because I can connect everything to everything, right? It's like if 2 things aren't meant to be connected, then I can just ask the LLM, like, hey, write the code to connect these two things. Like, you can figure out that like UI button is going to make a UI button if you have the documentation for it. And you can figure out that like Kanban, add lane is going to add a lane to your Kanban. And you understand that if there's like an event that's called like card moved, you can react to it, right? Like so suddenly you can say like, if I move this card over here, please like let the lights blink. Or if I press this button, then please open this window. So because these are also just scripts running, like the Kanban release train, I can just edit it. And it's like a fairly simple like Kanban page or whatever. And I want to extrapolate it to be like, if you have a hardware device here, like my phone should show up here. Anything that I interact with as an operator should be something I can connect to other things. My phone. The question is only like, how does it describe itself? I don't know if this makes sense. Like, do you guys have questions about this? Like, I'm still trying to find the names, but it's like getting more and more clear for me that at the end of the day, the only thing you need to know is from an object is like, please tell me how I can speak to you. And then once I know how to speak to you, I'm gonna tell you things. So you can say like, hey, you can talk to me in JavaScript. And by the way, I have like 5 different dialects of JavaScript. You can load, the UI JavaScript, you can load this. But by the way, I can also like execute some JSON commands, for example. And also you can call these 2 methods of mine, right? Like those are all ways of interacting with this model that are fairly simple to describe. And when you mix all of this together, you can get code that connects them together. The question now is like, where does this code run? And then how does it communicate with these objects, right? Like if my inventory is a database, or I have like a SQLite database mounted here, and I start sending it SQL, then it's clear where the SQL is going to run. But if I connect the result of the SQL to the inventory and say like, please populate the inventory with this query, how does that work? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Is like, the JavaScript for it is easy, and I can run it in a browser, but I could also run it on the back end, or I could run it anywhere, and it just need like a worker that does it, or like maybe I instantiate one. And like, what is this worker called? Is it also like something I can drag and drop around? Is kind of what I'm wrestling with, and like that's why the jump SSH stuff is interesting, because you have this whole like auto registration and giving things like domain names, so that it makes it easy to find it, right? Like there's like, this is definitely phone.manual.jump.sh, like it's always going to have that name. And then there's going to be like a whole set of like transient little programs that I wrote that I don't care about anymore, but I still have to give them names and find them in the future if I haven't deleted them entirely. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but that's kind of what I'm playing with right now. And there's like, it's so meta that I have a lot of names that I suspect are all the same thing. But also, if you call them all the same thing, then nothing means anything anymore as well. Or that's why I'm looking at Smalltalk as well, because Smalltalk is like, everything's an object and everything has a message. And then I think there's a third component to it, which is like events, right? Like you want some asynchronous source where you can say like, hey, my alarm clock has rung. Now please, blink the lights. So there needs to be an async source in all of this that also needs to be triggered. So I think events and RPC calls, so like synchronous calls, are 2 of the building blocks primitives. Then in terms of eval, I think eval should always take like a language name and then the content. Because I can define like a UI DSL, and you can speak that language in JSON. You can also speak it in JavaScript. And then it's a certain flavor of JavaScript because it only has like certain APIs defined. As far as the LLMs are concerned, they only know tokens, right? Like they don't. So in that sense, language is like what I give the LLM as information about what tokens it can output. So I don't know, man. This is like kind of fucking with my head. And then the simple task of managing these JavaScript VMs, like I'm starting to see a concept of all of this. Like there's this concept of sessions, which are loaded VM instances. So if I say open this, then I should have a session in here. No, there's no sessions. Yeah, see, I broke all of this shit. So anyway, this was it was super cool when it was working, and then I started adding a task manager and saying like, please unify all of this, and everything still reacts. So there's like use effect unmount JavaScript sandboxes. It was like, I need to take a look at this. I don't think this is the right way to do it. So I'll have to take a stab at the state management in here. I can't do it in 1920. And then my other demo, I wonder if that one's gonna work. Because that one was cool. I just posted it. I didn't actually expect it to run.
Yep. Right. Mm-hmm. Huh. Right. So it kind of sounds, yeah, it kind of sounds to me like what you're building is like constraint set plus like abstraction glue, right? Where it's like provided that you can give sufficient rails of, what's possible in the environment, and then you have, your clear abstraction boundaries and then ways to reach out and call in. Then if you have like a powerful model in the background, you can just have that set up any rails, and then you can have your more advanced, or you can have your smaller model operate from within those constraints, and then leverage the abstraction glue to just like magic that directly into your application. Yeah. That's a hell of a dot product right there. Yeah. Me neither, dude. Me neither. I am currently compiling it. I'm currently attempting to compile it in a browser environment. Actually, I'm running Aptron over on the side, so I just cloned it down, and I'm going to see if I can get it running via browser. Mm-hmm. It was a glorious demo. Mm-hmm. Holy slow no holy. think that's very much like kind of where we're like that's the realm that we're kind of stumbling around in, yeah. Well, I yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, that was where I was gonna go. Hmm. Hmm. I'm currently streaming just so you're aware. Yeah. There are people doing game things, yeah. I don't. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like yeah, yeah. Well, it at least for me, at least the way that I'm familiar with what Manuel's doing here is that largely at the moment it's a science experiment. Like the like Manuel himself does not actually know where this thing is going to end up because it's an exploration in a different type of computing. Yeah. When you say when you say use hmm 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 I can cut the. I yeah, I'm down to cut the stream because it's right around the time. Yeah, you're good. No, you're good. I'll just do like a quick wrap here actually, just because we are over time.